we can perform mathematical operations with our numeric variables. So we can say, for example, 2 plus 3 to add to an integer variable, and we can say 2.1 plus 1.2 or so something like this in order to add to a float variable. Now we are going to use debug.log to print this in the console and see it basically visually. Now here we can type a string, so for example you can simply say hello or something like this, and if I go back here, this will be printed here in the console. Now in order to do that, you will need to create an empty game object. So go here under game object, create empty, and then you will have this game object in the scene, and simply attach the script. So drag it here on the game object or drag it here to attach it to that game object. When you attach that script to the game object, then we are ready to execute it, and we can simply run the game. So press play here, and we will see here in the console hello has been printed out because, well, we put it here in the start function. And we can use this debug.log to print out, well, our calculation. So here we can say, for example, 1 plus 2 is equal to. Now this right here is a string, which we know because we are typing it between these quotation marks. Now in order to add an integer to a string, we need to do something called string concatenation. We say plus here after that string, and here we can say 1 plus 2. Now this 1 plus 2 is an operation, so we can put it here in, well, these parentheses, which means we are adding, well, 1 and 2 basically. And this plus here will assign this, well, integer variable to this string, and it will make this, well, a string. So this whole, well, code here, it will be a string basically. And this right here, so string concatenation, is not only for integers. We can also use it for floats, so we can say 1.1 plus here 2.2, for example, or even append a Boolean variable, and it will come out as a string. So if we go back here, and now if I run the program, we will see 1 plus 2 is equal to, and well, basically that's 3, but it's equal to 3 because we added here. So here we are performing the operation, and that will return the result. What we can also do, we can, for example, create an integer a, and it's equal to 2 plus 1, for example. Now this variable a will now be equal to 3, and we can test this immediately. So we can simply, well, print out a here, and we will see that 2 plus 1 is basically equal to 3. So I will just clear the console, and if I run the game now, we will see that we have 3 printed out in the console because we can, well, also assign a variable by using these operations. We can do the same thing that we did for this integer here. We can do it for a float variable in the same way. Now, before we wrap this video up, I want to show you one more thing, and that is using a random range variable. So we can type here random range, and here we can provide 2 numbers. So let's say, for example, 10 and 50. This will generate a random number between 10 and 50. And it will include 10 in that number, but it will disclude 50. So it will be between 10 and 49. And this will assign that variable back to our integer a. And this is a common way to program a random behavior in games basically. So we can go now in the console, we can run the game. So if I press play, we will see a certain number, which is 31. If I rerun the game, we will see another number. Well, there is a chance that we can see 31, but it's basically 1 in 50. But we see 49. And as I said, this will program a random, or this will generate a random number between the 2 specified numbers. And it's a common way to basically program a random behavior in our games. And we can also assign this to a float variable or to another integer variable, so on and so forth. But I just wanted to show you that you can use random range. So basically just type random.range and provide 2 numbers, and this will generate a random number and assign it back to our variable.